Dosm's Rambles.
Hey YouTube, Dosm Rider here with a Dosm's Rambles video on the Kamen Rider Build trailer that just came out. I think I mentioned when I talked about the build reveals that I might do one more video, and since there was a trailer I thought it might be fun to kind of do a little thoughts on it, slash like, not really a breakdown, but I'll have like little photos going up as I'm talking about it, so you'll get bits of it. I just don't have enough patience to do like one of those breakdowns that people do where they're like, and then this scene happened, especially when I'm not going to remember everyone's name. It's going to take me to like episode 30 to remember like 80% of their names. So I'll be like, and here we have a young girl with a scrunchie, and then here's another girl with short hair. So like that would be it. And like even though the names are out there, like even now I was reading the summary and stuff before I started just to be sure that I remembered everything I wanted to talk about. I'm like, I'm going to forget these names like as soon as I hit record. But anyway, so we got a little bit of a teaser trailer because they had the press conference. It was last night from when this is going up, and that's, you know, when they talk about details from the series and they bring out the cast and suits and stuff like that. And we got like a little bit of a snippet of the theme song. I think it's called, almost called Be Open. I don't think that's right. I forgot what it's called now. But I listened to it. It sounds fine. I feel like that'll be something more that I'll get more thoughts on when it, you know, actually shows up in the show and stuff. And I usually skip the theme after a while anyway. But just because I'm impatient, I'm like, I can't wait 2 minutes. I need to get into the episode. But anyway, so there was that. So the trailer, we got to see just a little bit of everything in action. We officially got, just first thing to talk about, a look at who the protagonist is. And that's probably the only thing I'm kind of mixed on as far as the trailer goes and as far as everything we're seeing goes. And I don't want to make too many snap judgments, but we got to first look at him, and nothing about him I'm like, look at him, his face is awful. That's not what I'm saying. It's like, I was kind of hoping we'd get more of a badass protagonist this time, because it's been a minute since we've had like a really cool protagonist. I think the last closest example would maybe be Tomari. He wasn't like a Tendo marvelous type, but he was a kind of just a cool, not cool because he's kind of goofy, but you know what I mean. He wasn't like an overly like goody like goofy character. He was a cop. So that's the closest one I can think of in terms of anything like that. Because the last 2 years with Takeru and M, we've kind of had this more goody lighter protagonist. And it's a weird thing, like I said, to complain about, because it's, you know, a show about heroes, but I was just kind of hoping for something different. Even if I wasn't kind of annoyed by this type of character, I just like to see them change out into different personality types. And from the trailer, it looks like he's gonna be a bit more of a lighter, goofy character. They showed off a little bit of a bit with his like hair popping up. There was a few more little comedic looking bits in the trailer that just kind of worried me. And just like the general way he behaves just kind of gave me that vibe. But I'm gonna hold judgment obviously until we get farther into the series. And for all I know, I could end up liking him. I was just really hoping for a cooler main after we had these last two. Not only just to shake things up, but it's been forever since we've gotten a badass lead for Sentai and Rider. We've been doing a lot of these crackheads and goody characters, and I would love to have like a Tendo or a Marvelous type, just because we haven't had it in a while, and it's cool to have like an awesome protagonist. But there is some interesting bits about him. He's description, basically some of the bullet points are he's a genius physicist, which that's obviously something you can be genius about, but I love how Japan or like Toku always have like these, whatever they want their character to be, it's like they're the genius version of it. Like in XA, the genius radiologist, and they'll be like the genius lunch packer. So he's a genius physicist too, that's where his expertise and all this comes in, and yet somehow he also has amnesia. So I don't know how he got his job as a physicist with having amnesia, but there you go. And that is one interesting highlight, is having amnesia, is that is something we haven't done since Agito. So that interests me. I think there could be intrigue there, because we'll not only have the mystery of the overall world, but the mystery of the character himself. And Agito is one of my favorite series, and that gives me a small glimmer of hope of maybe liking this guy, because I did like Shoichi. He wasn't like an overly badass. I would say he was kind of more like a Yamato type, where he's just kind of more even keel normal dude, but he had his charming moments, which I actually found amusing. So I'm kind of hoping for that with this guy. If he's not going to be kind of a more awesome dude, just have him sort of be a middle of the road normal character that's not overly goody or goofy, but has moments of charm that will make me laugh or smile. So there's that. As far as the overall plot goes, it doesn't really sound like some of the stuff I heard about like people being trapped in bottles, unless I missed on that part. But basically, Pandora's box was found on Mars years ago, and then Japan was split up into all these quadrants, and in addition to that, there was the influx of the enemies, which are called Smash, I believe, which is kind of funny. There's like multiple facets of jokes that can come out of that. So a lot of the overall mystery is going to come from why this happened. That's why, but Bill's trying to figure out, and like I said, we'll also be trying to figure out him. So that's kind of neat. I'm hoping that those mysteries are able to stay intriguing. And I'm definitely hoping that they're able to keep it different. X8 eventually did, but part of the way when it started to lose me at the beginning, which that's a whole issue for another day, because X8, you know, it wound up explaining itself and being different, but is that a lot of its bullet points ended up being very samey to writer tropes from the last recent years, particularly in post-decade era. So I'm really hoping that this isn't played up too much as their Begins Night Global Freeze deal. You know, obviously it is, but that's kind of gotten old. But the splitting up into quadrants thing and sort of having this established, like the whole world has changed rather than just these people know about certain things that have happened, is potential to be interesting for sure. We gotta look at some of the cast. I'm not gonna go over them all individually. There's a lot of people, it looks like at the building he works at or something, dressed in uniforms that look like are a cult, or like from a new facet of like Alon's place in the Ganma world. There's like a dude in a mustache. There's one dude who I think is gonna be important. I forget his name, but he looks like a fusion between like Brain and Spectre. I think I have a picture of him. Those two I'm gonna be putting up if I remember right, because I just screen capped some stuff to talk about. There's also another character who's going to be escaping from jail, I believe, and he, I feel like he's gonna end up being the second rider. I feel like I read that somewhere too, but then when I went back and looked at like the articles, I couldn't find it. But regardless, he escaped from jail and he's probably innocent, and he knows something about our main character's backstory, and I believe this is the dude. I'm putting his picture up at some point during this spiel, and I think he was a dude that was in Amazon Season 2, which I haven't gotten to yet. I could be wrong, because there was quite a decent handful of people. There's also, I don't think I screen cap pictures of them, I might have forgotten, but there's at least 2 female characters. There's quite a nice little handful of characters we got introduced to. I like the general tone and vibe they're going for, if that makes any sense. Like, just the way it looks kind of cinematically, like, it looks like a good mix between the sort of tones we had recently and maybe a little bit of the old tone. Not like in terms of, like that's something to jump to a way far conclusion, but just the way it's shot. If that may, like it just kind of reminds me of some of the mystique and vibe of earlier series. I just kind of noticed that, but that could end up being changed. Superficially, we did get some more looks at the suit and stuff like that, which I quite like. Something that I really dig, we got to look like at the transformation and stuff. We got like a look at the bottles, which we've seen before, but I mean, is that he shakes them before he transforms, which I just think is a really neat little detail. Like I always love little details like that, like kind of like the way X8 would blow into the cartridges before. He hasn't done that so much recently that I remember, but still it's just a nice little detail. Put the things in the belt and you crank it, and I like the voice. The voice for like announcing what he put in sounds cool. It sounds weird. And then it says like announcement of Kamen Rider Build afterwards, and I couldn't tell whether that was supposed to be the belt or just like the announcer for the trailer. I wasn't as huge a fan of that, but like I like the main voice that like reads the bottles and stuff like that. Something else that was very cool was the transformation sequence. At least it looks like the transformation sequence. I mean, I don't remember if we saw it transforming him into it, but it looks like we're gonna see it for switching forms at least, but I imagine it'll be the transformation sequence. Anyway, it looks like model kits, which is just really neat considering the whole build thing. I kind of dug it. I thought it was unique. I'm gonna put up a picture of, just because I was talking about this form before in the scans video. I don't remember which combination it is yet, but it was like the white icy blue form, which I thought looked really cool. It was like a really quick shot, but we got to see that. We got a couple shots of the villain Rider-esque guy who I don't think is Rider in his name, but he's in the trailer a couple times. He's gonna be, if I remember right, kind of part of the memories that our main character's having or tied into it somehow, but we got a couple shots of him. I'm really digging his suit. stuff like that. And I think that's pretty much it. It was pretty much a general teaser. Someone will probably sub this eventually. But right now, obviously, I don't really understand what's going on outside of the base level stuff. You know, it just kind of showed Pandora's box stuff. Look, here's characters we're going to be getting. Here's the Nitro. I think the guy's name is Nitrog or something. The Bat Dude. And then here's transformation sequences. But yeah, for the most part, 95% I like the look of what we're seeing. Even though like a trailer is a little bit more to go on than like scans, it's still really hard to say whether the show will be good or not. Obviously I'm gonna watch it. I'm quite looking forward to it. I'm really been in a Toku mood lately, so it's really nice to have that converging with a series premiere because it just kind of gets you extra excited outside of the realm of a new series premiering. But I like the looks of what I'm seeing so far. I like the looks of the tone. I like the looks of the series setup. I'm a little apprehensive about a few things, but I love the look of the suits, for the most part the gimmick. So most everything other than my reservations about the lead in terms of like what type of character you will be is on the positive side. And I'm going to try to keep in mind to be a little bit more open-minded, not open-minded, but less judgmental about certain choices made early on, because X-Aid had quite a few choices that I thought didn't agree with or thought were generic at the time, and then once the bigger picture became clear, it kind of fixed it. So when I do the eventual episode reviews, I'll probably point that stuff out if that happens, but I'm gonna try to not latch onto it so quickly because oftentimes there is a bigger picture at play. So like I was already noticing that with like the Pandora's box stuff. I'm like, okay, we have another Begins night, but there is some differences already, so I'm gonna try to reserve those type of judgments till the end. Just because if you watch my reviews look like an idiot, I'm like, why are they doing this? And then they explain it later. I'm like, that's cool. I don't know why I sound like a generic Toku fan in both instances. But anyway, that is my thoughts on the build stuff. Let me know what you guys think. Are you excited? I got a couple comments, people saying they liked me doing the last build video for scans, and I got a couple people suggesting maybe I do like news type thought videos on scans and trailers like this. So if you'd like to see that in the future, let me know because I have kind of fun doing these. So yeah, anyway, thanks everyone for watching. Until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. It's Dosm Rider, signing out.